Okay, Lexi, here is number 23 from lesson 52. So what we have here, according to our given information, is that we have two parallelograms. We have ABCD and we have AFGH. I would like for you, if you have some highlighters there or colored pencils or something, to kind of define those two parallelograms. So there's AFGH, and now let's mark ABCD. I'll use pink for that. ABCD. So obviously they have some overlapping parts, but there's our two parallelograms. And we'll go ahead and fill in what that first bit of information is given on the reasons ABCD and AFGH are parallelograms, because that was given information. Here's what we're trying to prove, and I'm going to mark these in a different color. We're trying to prove that angle G and angle C are congruent to each other. So we kind of have to go back and think in our minds, well, what do I know about parallelograms? Well, I know that in parallelograms, I know that angles that are adjacent to each other or right next to each other are actually supplementary. Adjacent angles are supplementary. But what I know about opposite angles is that they are congruent. So let's take a look at this. What do I know? I can see then that in the yellow rectangle, or excuse me, parallelogram there, that angle G and angle A are congruent because those are opposite angles. So angle G and angle A are congruent. And then let's look at the pink one. It's already marked for us, isn't it? Then angle A is also congruent to angle C. Why? Because pairs of opposite angles of parallelograms are congruent. And then step number 3 says angle G is congruent to angle C. So how can that be? Well, let's look at step number 2. You're saying right here that angle A is congruent to both G and C. So that means all 3 of those angles would be congruent, right? Let me just jot that down here. Angle G, angle A, and angle C would all be congruent to each other. Well, what we're trying to prove is that these two are congruent. So in step 3, we say that angle G and angle C are congruent based on the substitution property. And that's what we're doing. We're just substituting in what we found out about two pairs of angles. We're going to pull out the angle G and C and kind of like substitute that in place of A. So that's why we call it the substitution property. And that's basically all there is to number 23. Okay, we got one more to go.